Hey, Chief.
Yes.
John, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Two things. One, when you find out about that license plate, if you just want to call me with the info so we don't have an email crack, right, that'd be great. And then the second thing is, Keith Goodenough is alone in his opinion about legalization of marijuana, and the first time I met with the guy now 2.5 years ago, we had lunch together. I'm the new city manager. I'm getting acquainted with my council members. And he said, I was in the state senate for a while, and he said there were 3 initiatives that I pursued. One was legalization of marijuana, one was gay marriage, and one was death with dignity. I said, well, you were a popular guy here in Wyoming. And, later on I heard stories that they put him over in the corner. Now, as it turns out, I guess there is a chair that's kind of off by itself, and that's where they did put it in. But the first time I heard it sounded like with a dunce cap on, with his, back to everybody, but they actually kind of isolated him down there because he was so strange. Nobody else on council has this agenda. Nobody else would appreciate his, and getting involved in this issue.
Right.
And, the police officer saying, hey, I don't want to release this because I'm not telling how it's going to be used. I'm okay with that. And, and he hasn't said boo to me, and I don't think he will say boo to me. You do what you need to do, but 2 things I was told when I first came here about Keith that have proven to be true. One, John, you will never bring him around. You'll never have him be supportive of you. And, I just simply didn't believe that. And so I've gone the extra mile with Keith, and I still continue to go the extra mile with Keith. Keith is a very bright guy, and I enjoy engaging him in conversation because he is very bright. He's very well read. But I'm never, ever going to bring him, around. And the second thing is, Keith is an anomaly in Wyoming politics,
right,
and is kind of a dying breed. And if you look at, and Keith was even citing these quotes to Linda Woodco and I coming back from a WHAM meeting in Cheyenne a month or 2 ago. He said, about 30 years ago, out of the 90 people down at the legislature, we had 30, let's say, Democrats, and I don't really remember the number, but let's say 30. Now there's only 12. And he said, we're dying here. And he said, I blame the Democratic Party. He said, it's not the Republicans doing anything special. It's the Democrats are not. And so he is a dime minority. He won by 7 votes or 11 votes last time. He is in campaign mode right now. He is desperately in campaign mode right now. He has been since last November, and he admits that, and it really upset some of the other council members. Last night during their 2-hour-long executive session with Judy Studer, the person who's pursuing the Craig Hedquist thing, once again, he was the lone guy out there, and from accounts from 3 council members, they all thumped him. They all thumped him hard, and half the meeting, they probably took an hour thumping him and going after him and challenging him. And so all of that, put into your gray matter, you do what you need to do, or what you feel like you need to do with Keith. But just wanted to give you that background, and don't make you, I don't want you to feel like, oh crap, my first day on the job, I get this call from one of the council members who's after our department, right? Because he would have no support.
Yeah, no, we know him well.
Good, okay.
And my concern about the whole thing was, one, I didn't like the response from the officer. We needed to have some oversight over here when we have an officer going out to present something to the community, particularly something of a politically sensitive topic, although, it obviously leans right in this state, in this community, that particular one. But nonetheless, it is one of those topics that's in the news, so we need to know what's being presented and, how the department is representing itself or the subject matter. So we're going to get tightened down on that so we have better awareness. And I've looked at the presentation. I'm waiting for Jeff Bullard, the officer that gave it, to, kind of give me the bibliography and his sources, but it's all, he has the sources for all his information, and I don't have a problem, giving it to Keith, and, if he wants to debate the points, let him debate the points. They are what they are. And, my stance is that Chief is that, no, I'm not for the legalization of marijuana by any stretch. So I'm willing to have that debate with him. But that's my stance. That's where I am on it. And, we need to make sure we have the procedures over here in place to where the leadership is, knowledgeable of what's being presented by officers, particular to, politically sensitive topics out there. So we're prepared to be able to answer those when Keith comes over wanting to inquire about them or debate them. So
good. And then one last bit of gossip. The best place to hear things is either the barber shop or the hairdresser. And my wife was having her hair done by Carol Martin last night. Mm-hmm. And Carol said, man, I'm so glad that and she called them the Pagel politicians are gone.